The next concept is specific heats of gas. The general definition of specific heat from thermal properties of matter is amount of work done or amount of temperature required or heat energy required to raise the temperature of a body by 1 degree Celsius. But whenever it is applied to a gas, this gas has two thermodynamic variables: pressure, volume. Third one is temperature, where temperature is related to the change in the pressure and volume. So the thermodynamic variables are pressure, volume and temperature. So the specific heats of gas are classified into two types. First one is specific heat at constant pressure. The symbol for this is C suffix P. What is the definition of this one? The amount of heat energy required to rise the 1 gram of water or 1 gram of gas by 1 degree Celsius temperature at constant pressure is called specific heat at constant pressure. So, the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of a gas or of a 1 gram of gas by 1 degree Celsius at constant pressure. Is called specific heat at constant pressure. Its symbol is Cp. So it is Cp. There is another one that is said to be specific heat at constant pressure or molar specific heat at constant pressure. Molar specific heat. In the definition of specific heat at constant pressure, we are writing 1 gram. But in case of molar, instead of 1 gram, we should write 1 mole. That is the only difference, and the remaining structure is same. So the definition will change like this. The amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of a 1 mole of a gas by 1 degree Celsius at constant pressure is called specific heat or molar specific heat. So heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 mole of gas by 1 degree Celsius yet constant pressure is called molar specific heat. So this is also called MCP. Here it is S is equal to Cp, here it is S is equal to M into Cp, where M is equal to moles, number of moles, where Cp is equal to constant pressure. The next one is specific heat. The second classification is specific heat at constant volume. The symbol is C suffix V. As the definition states about the constant pressure, here also the same definition, but the constant proportion is changing. So the definition structure is like this. The amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of a 1 gram of gas by 1 degree Celsius at constant volume. Is called specific heat at constant volume. Therefore, it is defined as S is equal to Cv. But the another definition in the same category is molar specific heat at constant volume. So, what is the meaning of molar specific heat? In the definition of this specific heat at constant volume, in place of 1 gram, we are substituting 1 mole. That is the only difference. The remaining structure will be same. So, the definition changes like this. The amount of heat energy required to change or to rise the temperature of a 1 mole of gas by 1 degree Celsius at constant volume. Is called molar specific heat. So, it is represented by S is equal to M into Cv, where M is equal to number of moles. Like this, we can define the different categories of specific heats of a gas. Now, we are going to discuss the relationship between the Cp and Cv. The relationship between Cp and Cv is also called as Mayer's relation. The relationship between Cp and Cv. The title is Mayer's relation. According to the first law of thermodynamics, we can say that dq is equal to du plus dw. According to the first law of thermodynamics is dq is equal to du plus dw. But if you change the equation, it will be du plus pdv is equal to dq. Now we are differentiating the whole equation with time at constant volume. Getting the equation at constant volume. Therefore, it will become dq by dt at constant volume is equal to du by dt at constant volume plus 0. Because work done is a product of pressure into change in the volume, but we are differentiating the equation at constant volume. Therefore, dv will become 0. Therefore, this part will become 0. Therefore, we will get if heat absorbed is very small, then dq will become delta q, comma du will become delta u. Therefore, this equation will change. Delta q by delta t with respect to constant volume is equal to delta u by delta t with respect to constant volume. Let us say this is some equation 1. Now we will see the change in the same equation at constant pressure. So, at constant pressure, delta Q by delta T at constant pressure is equal to delta U by delta T at constant pressure plus P into delta V by delta T at constant pressure. Now we will see the Cp minus Cv. So this is the equation for Cp. This is the equation for Cv. So the equations what we got is Cv is equal to delta Q by delta T at constant volume is equal to delta U by delta T at constant volume. This is equation 1. But Cp is equal to delta Q by delta T at constant pressure is equal to delta U by delta T at constant pressure plus P into delta V by delta T at constant pressure. This is equation 2. If we compare both the equations, we can write dq by dt is equal to du by dt. So therefore, Cp minus Cv I am doing means specific heat at constant pressure minus specific heat at constant volume. We will get P into delta V by delta T at constant pressure. According to ideal gas equation, the ideal gas equation is PV is equal to nRT. Here it is P delta V, it is equal to nR into delta T, where n is equal to number of moles. If suppose the number of moles of a gas is 1, so if n is equal to 1 mole, therefore P delta V is equal to R delta T. Now I am substituting this P delta V in this equation. Let us suppose this equation is 3. Therefore, Cp minus Cv is equal to, in place of P delta V, we can write R delta T by delta T at constant pressure. This delta T and delta T get cancelled. Therefore, Cp minus Cv is equal to R, where R is equal to gas constant. We have the value of gas constant 8.314 joules per mole for Kelvin. Joules per mole per Kelvin. So therefore, Cp is equal to Cv plus R. We can say that Cp is always greater than Cv by the addition of R. So like this, we can define the relationship between Cp and Cv. And the condition is Cp is always greater than Cv. Now we will discuss a numerical which is based on this concept. So this is the numerical which is based on the concept of Mayer's relation. 5 moles of hydrogen when heated through 20 Kelvin expand by an amount of 8.3 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter cube under a constant pressure of 10 to the power of 5 Newton per meter square. If Cv is equal to 20 joule per mole Kelvin, find Cp. Number of moles, N is equal to 5. Hydrogen when heated through 20 Kelvin. So change in temperature delta T is equal to 20 Kelvin. And it was expanded by an amount of, means change in volume. Expansion is nothing but the change in volume. Delta V is equal to 8.3 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter cube, where the pressure is 10 to the power of 5 Newton per meter square. We should find out the Cp. We know that PV is equal to nRT. So we can write P delta V is equal to nR delta T. So where R is equal to P into delta V by n delta T. Now we should find out this R value. Therefore R is equal to, where pressure is 10 to the power of 5, delta V is 8.3 into 10 to the power of minus 3 whole divided by n is 5, delta T is 20. Therefore it is 10 to the power of 5 into 8.3 into 10 to the power of minus 3 by 100. 10 to the power of 5 into 10 to the power of minus 3 is nothing but 10 square, where 10 square is equal to 100. Therefore R is equal to 100 into 8.3 by 100. This 100 and 100 gets cancelled. R is equal to 8.3 joule per mole Kelvin. We say that Cp is equal to Cv plus R, where Cv is equal to 20, where R is equal to 8.3. Therefore the answer is 28.3 joule per mole Kelvin. So where Cv is equal to 20 joule per mole Kelvin, under these aspects we will get Cp 28.3. Now we are showing that Cp is greater than Cv, but how? First step is when volume is fixed at constant. Means we are showing Cp is greater than Cv at constant volume. We can write the first law of thermodynamics, dq is equal to du plus dw. So dq is equal to du, because volume is fixed constant, dw will become 0. Therefore dq is equal to, where dv you can write ncv dt, where dq by dt is equal to ncv. This is nothing but specific heat is equal to ncv. Now we are comparing the same equation with constant pressure, but at constant pressure the equation is dq is equal to du plus dw, where du we can write ncp dt is equal to pdv is equal to dq, where dq is equal to ncv dt. Therefore ncv dt is equal to ncp dt plus pdv. On the both sides I am multiplying, I am dividing with n. So by dividing with n, this will become Cv dt is equal to Cp dt plus W by n. So therefore Cp dt is equal to Cv dt minus W by n. If the work done in reverse order during the expansion, nothing but the pressure is increases. In the expansion, pressure increases, volume also decreases. So if C expansion, pressure increases, volume decreases, or pressure decreases, volume increases, because pressure is inversely proportional to the volume. By applying the same rule, this Cp dt will become Cv dt plus W by N. So like this we can define that specific heat at constant pressure is always greater than the specific heat at constant volume based on the ratio of pressure and volume. So therefore we can say that the ratio of Cp and Cv is equal to gamma, where this gamma is called adiabatic constant. So gamma is equal to Cp by Cv. From this we can write Cp is equal to gamma Cv. But according to the Mayer's relation, Cp minus Cv is equal to R. From this equation we can write Cp is equal to gamma Cv. Therefore, gamma Cv minus Cv is equal to R. Cv into gamma minus 1 is equal to R. Therefore, Cv is equal to R by gamma minus 1. This is one of the form for the specific heat at constant volume based on the R and gamma. Then what about Cp? Cp is equal to Cv plus R. We got Cv as R by gamma minus 1 plus R. If we take gamma minus 1 as LCM, this is R plus R of gamma minus 1 is equal to Cp. So we can write Cp is equal to gamma Cv, therefore gamma into, where Cv is R by gamma minus 1. Therefore Cp is equal to gamma by gamma minus 1 into R. Let us suppose this is equation 1, this is equation 2. This equation 1 and equation 2 represents the specific heat constants at constant volume and constant pressure in terms of the adiabatic constants. The point what we are discussing here is different types of processes. It is also called as different types of thermodynamic processes. These processes depends upon the thermodynamic variables like pressure, volume, temperature. As these thermodynamic processes are continue to be done at different situations, maybe pressure is constant and volume and temperature is variable, or volume is constant, pressure and temperature are variable, as temperature is constant, pressure and volume are variable, or these all three means pressure, volume and temperature may be in equilibrium for every time interval or for every given regular time interval. These are the situations what we can experience in every thermodynamic process. For every constant value, if pressure is constant, the thermodynamic process is said to be another one. Where volume is constant, it has another name of the thermodynamic process. Where temperature is constant, it has another name. Such like that, there are different thermodynamic processes based on the variations and constants of the thermodynamic variables. What is the list of that? First one, quasi-static process. Second one, isothermal process. Third one, adiabatic process. Fourth one, isobaric process. Isobaric process. Fifth one, isochoric process. These five are listed as the different thermodynamic process. Along with these five, more are there. Cyclic process, non-cyclic process, eighth one, reversible process, ninth one, irreversible process. These four processes, means the listed one from 6 to 9 word, depends upon the path followed in doing the thermodynamic process. These are depends upon the thermodynamic variables. These all are said to be different thermodynamic processes. This one, the second list, which is from 6 to 9, based on the path followed. This 1 to 5 is based on the thermodynamic variables. Now we will discuss one by one, and for isothermal and adiabatic, we should find out the work done also, which is very important concepts in this lesson. The first one to be discussed in this list is quasi-static process. First we will see the way to process it, then we will go to the definition. Let us take a container which has some liquid or gas or some fluid which was pressed by a force of piston. That means a piston is arranged like this. This piston is applying force on this fluid which was placed in the container. Because of that, the fluid which is in the container is experiencing some pressure. If suppose on the piston I have applied some weights, so after the force is applied, this piston was too much compressed in the gas because of the applied loads. This is the initial stage. After the loads applied, this piston is applying more pressure on the fluids. So this is the position. When compared to these two situations, here volume decreases but pressure increases. Because of this volume and pressure inversely proportionality ratio, temperature will become constant. If temperature is also varying with respect to the pressure and volume variation, then it will be exchanged to the surroundings. Then the surroundings will keep at constant temperature. If you are removing the load one by one, not all at one time, one by one if you are removing the loads, then there will be some expansion in the piston like this. Second load is also removed, then expansion may be like this. As the expansion takes place, volume increases but pressure decreasing. Anyway, in every process after the removal of the weight, this pressure is proportional to 1 by V, nothing but pressure is inversely proportional to the V. So PV is constant at a constant temperature. This is happening really in this process, but this process is a slow process because we are removing the weights one by one. For expansion or compression, it takes a lot of time. If we removed all forces, nothing but the weights at a time, sudden expansion, or if you applied the all forces at a time, sudden compression, it leads to uneven changes in the temperature as well as pressure and volume. So what we can state the definition in this process is, it is such a slow type of thermodynamic process where this system is in mechanical and thermal equilibrium with surroundings at every intermediate stage. Intermediate stage means after the removal of one force, that is one stage. What is the pressure and volume? To the temperature. After removal of the second force, what is the pressure and volume with temperature? Like this we should find out. That is called intermediate stage. So the definition is, it is such a slow process where the system will be in mechanical and thermal equilibrium at each and every intermediate stage. Mechanical and thermal equilibrium is connectively called as thermodynamic equilibrium or thermodynamical equilibrium. Like this, we can define the quasi-static process. Every intermediate stage, we should check the relationship between P and V, and we should check the relationship between PV by T. This PV by T ratio is constant with the surroundings at every intermediate stage. The next process to be discussed in this list is isothermal process. Yes, the content or the title says that isothermal means temperature is constant. So, there is a system where the system is changing its pressure and volume and its temperature remains at constant, and by exchanging the heat energy to the surroundings. This process is called isothermal process. It is a process or it is a thermodynamic process where the change in pressure and volume takes place by keeping the temperature at constant and exchanging the heat energy from system to surroundings. Heat energy from system to surroundings. Means if you take any substance, there is a change in pressure and volume, but its temperature is remaining constant, but still that body is able to exchange the heat energy to the surroundings. What are the examples for this? Converting steam into water. This is one of the example for the isothermal process. When the steam converting into water, then it loses some temperature. This loss in temperature will be exhausted in a form of heat energy to the surroundings. Then system and surroundings will maintain the constant temperature. So at this process, its pressure and volume automatically changes. Because steam is converting to water, automatically there will be some beautiful changes we will see in volume and pressure. Like this, we can define the isothermal process, which is one of the thermodynamic. Now we will discuss the work done during the isothermal process. Now the concept is work done in isothermal process. Let us take 1 mole of gas in a container. Initially at the volume V1, and a piston is applied on it, nothing but the pressure. When a piston is applied on the gaseous molecules which are placed in the container, that is nothing but the pressure applied on the gaseous molecules. Whenever, if you release the weight on the piston, maybe if you slowly release the piston to the upward direction, then this V will become V plus dV. Then the change in the diagram may state like this. At this point, we have seen the V1, and the change in the volume after the expansion is, let us say, some V plus dV. After adding this change in volume to the V1, this V1 plus dV may be equal to V2, we are saying. So, volume is changing from V1 to V2 in the case of expansion of the gas in this experiment. So, what is the work done during the expansion of the gas? It is nothing but W is equal to P dV. So, work done during the expansion of gas dW is equal to P dV. This dW is the small amount of work done during the expansion of small change in the volume. If the volume changes into the higher level, then the total work done is equal to integral dW, that is equal to integral P dV between the limits V1 to V2, because volume has changed from V1 to V2. In this case, according to the ideal gas equation, we can say that PV is equal to RT. This refers to P is equal to RT by B. From this, PV is equal to RT for 1 mole of the ideal gas, P is equal to RT by V. I am substituting this P value from this equation to this equation. Therefore, integral dW is equal to integral RT into dV by V from the limits V1 to V2. So, I am keeping RT outside. This is integral dV by V from the limits V1 to V2. Integral dx by x is log x. That is why we can say it as log V. Therefore, work done is equal to RT into log V from the limits V1 to V2, and this will become RT into log V2 by V1, log E based. If we convert this value, this W will become 2.303 into RT into log 10 based V2 by V1. This is the work done in isothermal expansion or isothermal process. But we know that according to the Boyle's law, V2 by V1 is equal to P1 by P2. Therefore, P1 V1 is equal to V2 by V1. So, we can say that 2.303 RT into log P1 by P2 also. So, like this we can define the work done in isothermal process. Now we are discussing a numerical which is based on the concept of isothermal process. If you see the content of the problem, when 5 moles of an ideal gas is compressed isothermally, its volume decreases from 5 liter to 1 liter. If the gas is at 27 degrees Celsius, find the work done on the gas, where R is equal to 8.314 joules per moles per Kelvin. So, number of moles is equal to N is equal to 5. This is an ideal gas. Okay, it is compressed isothermally. Its volume decreases from 5 liter to 1 liter. Initial volume V1 is equal to 5 liter. Final volume V2 is equal to 1 liter. Temperature T is equal to 27 degrees Celsius. But we should convert this temperature into Kelvin scale. Therefore, it is 27 plus 273, nothing but 300 Kelvin. Okay, the information what we need to solve the solution is ready. And R is equal to 8.314 joules mole inverse Kelvin inverse. Now we should find out the work done on the gas. Therefore, work done on the gas W is equal to nRT log E into V2 by V1. Now this value will change like this. Therefore, W is equal to 2.303 into nRT into log 10 V2 by V1. Therefore, W is equal to 2.303 into, where N is equal to number of moles 5 into, where R is equal to 8.314 into temperature T is equal to 300 into log 1 by 5. If you do the whole solution, this is 2.303 into 5 into 8.314 into 300 into this log 1 by 5, we will get minus of 0.6990. By using the Clark's table, we can do this. Log 1 by 5 is nothing but log 1 minus log 5. Log A by B is equal to log A minus log B. So if you do this log 1 minus log 5, we will get minus 0.6990. If we do the whole calculation, we will get minus 2.007 into 10 to the power of 4 joules. Where minus indicates work done on the gas. Work done on the gas. So this is the amount of work done for this physical quantities present in the ideal gas. The next different types of process is adiabatic process. What is this adiabatic process? Adiabatic wall, there is a wall which is almost like an insulated wall, which doesn't allow any leakage of pressure, volume or temperature to the next level. That means if this wall is placed between two chambers, there will be no exchange of pressure, volume and temperature between these two, where it is placed between the chambers. That means adiabatic process means it is also a process. When compared to the adiabatic wall, we can say the definition like this. It is a thermodynamic process where the system experiences a physical change in pressure, volume and temperature, and without the exchange of heat energy to the surroundings. This process is called adiabatic process. It is a thermodynamic process where the physical system experience the experiences the change in pressure, volume and temperature without exchanging the heat energy to the surroundings. So, what we can say, sudden change in pressure, volume and temperature means some changes that doesn't have much time to exchange the heat energy to the surroundings. Best examples, a gas allowed to expand suddenly or allowed to compress suddenly. Thus the gas molecules won't have a sufficient time to exchange their excess heat energy to the surroundings. This expansion, sudden expansion or sudden compression, in sometimes we will see the tire bursts, cycle tire bursts. This bursting is due to the sudden expansion of the gas. So these are all the examples for the adiabatic process. A sudden expansion or compression doesn't have much time to exchange the heat energy to the surroundings. Time to exchange the heat energy. This sudden expansion or sudden compression results the bursting of the tires. Burst of the tires. Like cycle tire bursting, these are the examples for the adiabatic process. What are the conditions required for executing the adiabatic process? The container should be made up of a bad conductor and the piston should be made up of a bad conductor, because if these are the conductors, the sudden expansion and compression will pass the heat energy through the conductors. So then it won't be an adiabatic process, it will be another process. So the container and piston should be made up of bad conducting materials. So like this we can define the adiabatic process. Now we will derive the expression for the work done in adiabatic process. So we are discussing the work done in adiabatic process. So what we can understand, again let us assume 1 mole of gas in a container. Assume 1 mole of gas in a container, initially with the pressure P1, V1, T1. The sudden expansion in these gas molecules results the change in pressure and change in volume and change in temperature to P2, V2, T2. There will be no exchange of the heat energy. Now we should find out the work done in this case. In adiabatic process, there is a rule P into V power gamma is equal to constant. We can say this one as P into V power gamma is equal to K. So what is the work done in this expansion? Work done during expansion is equal to dW is equal to PdV. From this expression we can write P is equal to K by V power gamma. But the total work done is equal to integral dW is equal to integral PdV from the limits of volume V1 to V2. Why we are applying the volumes as the limit? Because in the expression itself it is saying that change in volume is there. That's why to represent that we are applying the limits of volume from V1 to V2. So if you see here, we can write P is equal to K by V power gamma. Now I am substituting this P is equal to K by V power gamma in this expression. So work done is equal to integral K by V power gamma dV to V1 to V2. So therefore it is K is, we are writing outside as a constant, we are treating it, and dV by V power gamma from the limits V1 to V2. 1 by V power gamma is nothing but V power minus gamma. Therefore it is K into integral V power minus gamma dV from the limits V1 to V2. So integral x dx, x power n dx, x power n plus 1 by n plus 1. So we are using integral x power n dx is equal to x power n plus 1 by n plus 1 plus some constant. In place of x power n we have V power minus gamma. Therefore W is equal to K into V power minus gamma plus 1 by 1 minus gamma from the limits V1 to V2. So what we can write here, it is K by K into V2 power minus gamma plus 1 by 1 minus gamma plus, because upper limit minus lower limit, so minus V1 power minus gamma plus 1 by 1 minus gamma.